Alright, we're back with another Discord League video for you guys. This time we've got the Season 9 Cup Top 16. Leniel on Crane versus Will on Dragon. Dragon winning the coin flip and flipping Palace on turn 1. Crane opening with Narishma and passing for Passing Fate. So both players bid 5. So Leniel is on the Scorpion Splash with 3 Calling in Favors, 1 I Can Swim, 3 Mark of Shame. So no A Fate Worse Than Death. I was thinking previously that Fate Worse Than Death would be pretty good against this Yokuni Open if he was running it and drew it. Mark of Shame is also great against Yokuni. Yokuni typically can be bowed with the Crane Stronghold if he's dishonored until he starts suiting up. Ooh, so Leniel did draw 5 and then ran straight into Restoration of Balance under Palace. So he is going to be discarding 4 cards. It can get a lot worse than that, although 4 is obviously not perfect. At least he did manage to get that Way of the Crane off ahead of time to honor the Narishma. And at least there isn't a province under Imperial Palace that will continue to generate value for Will in the long run. If that was a shameful display under that palace, it would be much worse. So Leniel wins that one with Political, doesn't go for the break, discards a Cloud the Mind at random. So after the Earth Ring that we just saw, the Crane player is actually only down 2 cards. That's a good way to mitigate Restoration of Balance if you do have to attack in first. So Yokuni is going to go in on his own and probably get a break here. With a Pathfinder's Blade, he doesn't have to worry about this shameful display. Unless Leniel steals it and he doesn't have another one. Leniel is on 6 conflict characters. That Mark of Shame taking Yokuni down from 6 skill to 3. Not enough to prevent the break. So we will likely see a follow-up play here from Leniel. So we see Finger of Jade come down on Yokuni after the Seeker Fate from Restoration of Balance. That does still leave Will with 1 more Fate. Didn't notice a very important thing here, which is that Leniel is on Charge as his restricted list card. Challenger is one of the better targets for Charge in Crane, and it is enough to prevent the break, even if Will uses his Stronghold here. So pretty strong signal that he has a follow-up play here, going from 3 to 3 to 5 to 3 doesn't do anything. The Calling in Favors on the Mark of Shame, or on the Finger of Jade, sorry. It looks like they're playing around a Noble Sacrifice, which would be pretty impactful if it was played here. That Reprieve will stop it. The Pathfinder's Blade does cancel the Finger of Jade. So I don't really see what using a Stronghold there did. Starting from this mountainous Anvil Castle, I don't really see what they're trying to achieve. Well, or at least I don't see what Dragon's trying to achieve. Going from 3 to 5, and then having to play Finger of Jade into triggering the Pathfinder's Blade. Okay, so yeah, once the Challenger gets dishonored with the Calling in Favors, Dragon's back in breaking, and it makes sense again. So Shameful Display does get broken. Yokuni could have copied Nourishma in order to get more dynasty fixing. It doesn't ultimately matter since he would have wanted to keep the swordsmith that was on that province. So Leniel holding back a lot of fate again. And that Yokuni did end the turn back on normal status. So Dragon still has Imperial Palace up 1 break to none. And Leniel probably has a 3-cost conflict character this turn. Otherwise, they're going to get run over pretty hard this turn. So with one fate on all your characters here, you're probably going to want to move a fate from the water ring to the void ring. Yeah, and then attack in with void. Seal of the Dragon on Yokuni, so he's ready to Hurricane Punch and Fist and do all the nasties. Okay, finding fertile fields. So Leniel gonna get a card and a fate. And he could charge in a character here or play a Menacing Iron Warrior and honor it. Something like that could equalize this conflict, otherwise it's just gonna break. And he just doesn't defend it. So what is Leniel planning to do to get back into this game? So attacking military here, it is 4 skill. Dragon will have to commit cards to defend this one. Whether he'll defend with a character or favorable in the Yokuni and then play a few attachments onto his characters and Void Fist Nourishma, it's yet to be seen. Ooh. Nourishma flips Imperial Palace. Will finds another reprieve with the Yokuni who copied Swordsmith. So Leniel plays a Bonsai to go into breaking range. Let's see if Will decides to pull the trigger on a defense at this point. Finger of Jade coming down on the Togashi Initiate. Will we see the reprieve come down on the Swordsmith? We do. So Void Fist can be played now after 2 cards have been played. So if we see the favorable ground. No, man, he was just playing out cards for the Earth Ring here. So after that Earth Ring, he's down 2 cards. And he did have the Void Fist. So he could have just moved in the Yokuni with the favorable ground and Void Fisted the Nourishma. Instead, he takes a break on Imperial Palace. Let's see what's going to happen here. It should be good. So Magistrate Station is going to get some value for Leniel. It's going to stand up that Nourishma. So right now we're looking at 2-2. That honor does turn off Voice of Honor and puts it up to 4-2. So we only need to see one more skill to break. That could just be the Stronghold. Okay, Pathfinder's Blade blocks the Standing Narishma. Could have used your Stronghold before honoring to get those 2 skill onto the Initiate. The Finger of Jade is there in case he plays Assassination. So now we've got a political rival in the conflict, and he did lose a Void Fist. If we still had that Void Fist, we could punch it out, because that card is fair. Let's see if he's got another one. So he does have a Hurricane Punch. So that strongly signifies that he does have a Void Fist, because this is a political conflict. Ooh, Game of Sedaine. So this is 6-3. Finger of Jade cancels that. So where is... and moves out the Initiate. Super cautious play. What was the Hurricane Punch for? Curious. Can't say I like that turn from Will. Investing in 3 characters equally costs a lot of fate. Yeah, I know it's not pronounced that way, but I'm too lazy to try to pronounce it better. Mittens. So now we've got Yokuni dupes, which is good, but it does cost you passing fate, and I think he's going to play the right Sugu here. Well, no, I think he's going to play the investigator here, actually. It's called the Game of Not Usually Played. So, looks like Dragon bid 1 by accident. So they find that cloud with the Agasha Swordsmith to take care of that guest of honor. So both players pass in conflict. Let's see if we get a punish here. So yeah, Feast or Famine's pretty big. I think you just could just let it break. Yeah, let it break, pull in the board. I don't really know what he was hoping to happen, claiming bad luck. Seems to me like any of his possible hits would have wrecked his face. I mean, let's be real. The three he rolled a A bad province. He only had a 3 in 3 chance of hitting a bad province. So with 5 fate left, he can play out 1 3 fate character, 1 or 2 1 fate characters. I think that Dragon can probably just break in over the top of that. And if he can't, he has the first conflict next turn. So after that Feast or Famine, there won't be much of a board. He can stand that Guest of Honor, but that's just one defender for this large dragon board. So go in Void, and you should be good to go. Yeah, he can covert the Guest of Honor, looks like. So it could go Water. Yeah, Water first, Void later. Mm, Air. So that is a ring that is legal to choose. I have no other words on the matter. So, interesting fact here. If this reprieve wasn't here, this would be a super interesting situation. Because he accidentally bid 1, the I Can Swim that Leniel has is active. But with the reprieve there, that's a lot less exciting. Leniel needs to have the second calling in favors and the I Can Swim, which is less likely. Noble Sack, again, there's the reprieve. So with the Steward of Law there, you cannot Noble Sack with the reprieve, because you can't steal it. The... Okay, bowing the Yokuni. I think the Steward of Law was doing as much for the Dragon player as the Crane player, so I don't understand the Cloud either. Suffice to say that this conflict is going poorly for Dragon for no discernible reason. Alright, so now Leniel has the opportunity to go for water himself. That guest of honor is currently active with that cloud being spent on the Steward of Law. Okay, we see the charge just for the skill, putting him into winning. Mountain's Anvil Castle counters that. Leniel has no skill left, so this investigator is going to break the magistrate station unless there's an unanswered court games. Let's see if Leniel is on rally or entrenched. So it is entrenched. Although I suppose either way you might want to, yeah, take the political rival either way. Okay, Leniel bids 2, which would have taken him down to 2 honor if Verbolgi had bid 1, but he bids 5 instead, which is correct. Cloud coming down on Mia Mystic. Finds another Seal of the Dragon. Yokuni can target Investigator, Swordsmith, Raitsugu, or Challenger, depending on what turns out to be needed. We have the Wander here, with no answer from Leniel. And a political skill on Raitsugu, which prevents the Stronghold from bowing him. That's very good, and we'll see probably a big stomp on political. At the Stronghold. Looks like double covert. And that's the game. Alright, congratulations to Verbolgi. Too bad for Leniel. I would have preferred to see a Crane victory as I usually do. And thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back at some point with more L5R coverage, and have a good day.